Hello and welcome from Brands Hatch in the south of the UK as we return for round 8 of the VBTCR Championship. Why the authorities spend millions of pounds trying to turn Silverstone into a great circuit when we already have one in Brands Hatch is a mystery to me. Not my words, but the words of the late great Murray Walker, and who could argue? Rated it as one of the finest drivers' circuit to have graced the motor racing calendar, Brands Hatch is fancily little change from its classic format. The track has changed very little since the addition of the Grand Prix section in 1960, and it's that version that we're racing today. And regarding that section of the track, the circuit began to turn a profit in 1960, and long-held ambitions to create a Grand Prix loop were realised. To get around the planning restrictions, the course extension followed tracks that had previously been used by scrambler bikes, and with permission duly granted by Kent County Council, construction began in January and was completed in time for August bank holiday and the meeting that was held then. I'm Tim Cox, coming to you from the VBTCR Broadcast Centre with Shane Dunn alongside me on production. Last time out, we visited Daytona, and wow, what a race we had. As you can imagine, due to the road circuit taking on large chunks of the oval, there was plenty of slipstreaming and an absolute grandstand finishes. However, Assert was the driver that grabbed all the headlines for Impulse Racing with a victory in not only race 1 but race 2 as well, and in doing so became the first driver to claim victory in both races at a round. It was also his first win in the championship since winning race 1 at round 1 in Donington, so be definitely pleased to get that one off his back. So we're seconds away from the action here. Who's going to come out on top? Will it be Audi, Honda or Hyundai? We'll find out shortly, but let's take a look at the championship standings. Well, who can we say about this guy? Turf Larton, he's looked unbeatable all season, leading the way. However, that double victory last time out of Certs is now close the gap up to 7 points. Shane Dunn, Mr. Consistent, he's in third and has around about just over 30 points of a gap over Gilman. Jack John's another one of the consistent finishers. He is in 5th. Then got Garrity, Newell, Boll, Hagen and Malcolm taking up to 10th place, and that's where it really gets competitive. Incredibly close on the points. Sabula, Smith, Holland, Denyer, Crowther, McGarrity and Empringham all within shouting distance of being able to pick up a few more places in the penultimate round of the championship. McCabe and Ems take you up to 20th position. Ems is starting to drop off a little bit off that 19 cars ahead of him. Dan Mould. Harris is another driver who, if he'd been able to send a few more rounds, would be higher up. Thornton, Seal, Cottenham, Kent, Jones and Anderson take you up to 28th, with Martin and Myers taking up to 30th. Myers, another one of the drivers who should have been able to send a few more rounds. I think we would expect to see much higher up the championship. Seen some great drives. Who could affect that one at Oran Park? Great stuff from her. Gibson, Murray, Butler, Simons, Stevenson, Van Ols, Walters and Johnson. Now the standings. Let's take you to the grid here for race 1. Flarton, he's on pole once more, and that is his 6th pole of the season. He's joined by Hussein for Ignium, a new driver to the championship, and what a way to start by being on the front row. Sabula has a double race winner from last time out of Cert alongside on the 2nd row. The 3rd row is all Impulse Racing with Chris Ems and Jan Boll. And Dandridge, that's the best qualifying from him in 7th. Gilman of Impulse, little pocket of Impulse Racing cars in 8th on the 4th row. Jess Myers and Gibson make up the 5th row and take you up to 10th place. And then we've got Jack Johns, who expect to see him probably come through and pick up a few places after that strong qualifying. Scott Malcolm's alongside him for company on the 6th row of the grid. Then we've got McCabe, that's his best qualifying of the season so far, in 13th, with Ben Denyer alongside him for company. Now Denyer, a little bit down maybe from where we'd expect him. Another driver we expect to see coming through the field. Marlon Mccoombe two newcomers to the championship in 15th and 16th. Then it's Stephen Fry, good qualifying from him in 17th with another newcomer. It's Michael McGuinness. We've then got Crowther and Duncan Murray rounding out your top 20. And then it's Smith and third place in the championship, Shane Dunn, well down in qualifying. Interesting to see how he gets on today in race 1. His teammates just behind him in 23rd, Ryan Embringham, and Jack Newell is alongside him. Then we've got Dan Thornton and Van Olst alongside him for company. Fraser Garrity of Insignia as Alfie McGarrity, who a little bit behind his teammates of Embringham and Dunn. Those guys will be working together to work their way through the field, with Martin and Hagen rounding out your field as we head to the track now for race 1. Let's get ready to go racing at Brands Hatch. It's going to be a close evening, and we are away. And a great start by Flarton there. Hussein just tucking in behind him. You can see there the impulse guys hugging pretty much the left-hand side of the track, streaming through, occupying 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th as they come to turn 2 for the first time. Who's going to come out on top? It's going to be an interesting one. Everyone looking to get away relatively cleanly so far. No, there's an incident in the background there. It's all happening. We've got Dunn. I think Empringham's involved there. There's one in the Insignia cars. I think was it Crowther potentially. But all while that's mayhem is ensuing. But Druids, everyone's getting away as they come round Surtees and head out onto the Grand Prix section for the first time. Flarton leading from Hussein, who sucked up right behind his bumper. So then the impulse guys of Bolt and Ems going side by side. Bit of team order surely coming into play from the Audi drivers there. So they come around Hawthorne Bend on the run down to Westfield. It's probably going to remain in a line here, not expecting any moves. So they all try to remain as close as possible for a potential lunge into Sterling's. So everyone getting away relatively closely. Flarton still leading. Spooler, the highest Hyundai. The highest Hyundai is McGuinness down in 7th. So Honda down in 17th is McGuinness. So they come round to complete the first lap, just rounding Clark Curve, and really you can see Hussein taking a much tighter line there out of the corner, caressing all over the back of Flarton. However, we know Flarton is as steady as the rock, and Sabula just setting the fastest lap. Clearly the man on the move in the Hyundai in 3rd place. Polish driver desperate to keep on to the back of these lead 2, and you can see Assert, he's coming along for the ride. They all really seem to catch up there around Druids as they come now down to Graham Hill Bend, taking as much of that concrete section on the exit as they dare. Let's take a little look at the replay. This is how it all unfolded on lap 1, and ooh, Shane Dunn out onto the grass, and then he's completely out of control of that Audi. And that's what starts off the mayhem. This is Crowther of Insignia. There we go. He touched Dunn, and that's what sent him careering into the field. Then Crowther just careers straight into him. There was all the Spud Motorsport cars involved there. All the Insignia guys definitely. This is from Dan Thornton's perspective, and then they go Embringham. I think that was up onto his wheels, and Thornton nowhere to go, and T-bones right into the side of Dunn. Checking out that replay, Flarton's managed to pull a bit of a gap over Hussein. Now he's got Sabula all over the back of him, filling his mirrors with that orange Hyundai. Right now, he's going to look to get right behind in the slipstream. You can see Assert just coming out wide. Hussein taking that really defensive line on the inside. Sabula just jinxing out there, trying to swoop down and try and carry as much momentum as he dare through Paddock Hill on the run up to Druids. And then here we go, side by side now. Sabula trying to find his way around, but he needs to be careful. Here comes Assert. What can he do? And Sabula just losing that ground there from taking that wider line, which allowed Assert at the inside, who wasn't able to convert that move. But Hussein is getting a bit of breathing space right now. As you can see, we're right on board with Assert. There's Sabula. We're all over the back of him. Cert is relatively safe. He's got his 3 teammates of Impulse behind him. Bolt, Ems, and Gilman. He knows he's not going to come under attack. A stream of Audis, the Impulse run. You see, there's Fraser Garrity in 23rd, and it's all happening behind him. Marlon, new drivers to the championship. He's got Garrity and Martin just behind. What can McGarrity do? He's got his way past Martin. Martin now getting the best of runs there. Down through Pilgrim's Drop and looking really vulnerable. Taking heavily defensive line, and he's had to back right out. Crowther making light work of it there, but back up to the front. And Sabula is looking under a massive amount of pressure right now from Assert. Flarton setting a new fastest lap there at 32.6. And those times keep coming down more and more. Sabula will be desperately hoping that Assert will work with him to close up onto the back of Hussein. Himself is trying to hunt down Flarton. That gap up to about 2 seconds now. You can see the large chunk of daylight between those two drivers. The rear brakes of that Hyundai still glowing orange even down the straights. He needs to be careful of to get too much heat into them. Which will create issues under braking as they come through Pilgrim's Drop on the run up the hill now to Hawthorne Bend. Where the Impulse guys have been playing as a defensive barrier sitting behind Assert. That is just allowed Dandridge to close right up onto the back of him. Jess Myers, fellow Hyundai, coming along for the ride as well. Sabula pushing that Hyundai to the Elantra to the absolute maximum right now. Slippery shape of it, really helping down the straights, but Smith in the in the Audi right now. You see, tried to get a move done there on Murray, but ended up running wide, and Hagen picks up a place. He started right at the back. He's already up to 19th place. That is up 11 places. Great stuff from the Norwegian. Back to this battle for the front, and Sabula and Surf managed to pull a bit of a gap over Bol, Ems and Gilman, his teammates. Sabula is definitely going to be worried a bit. Just a little bit out onto the grass there. Well held there. Nearly loses it again. Sabula really feeling the pressure right now from Assert. So they come round Surtees and run up the hill. Who's going to get the best exit? It's looking initially like Assert. He's tucking in once more. Can he get a move up the inside? Not this time around. At the moment it feels like when, not if, Assert will get past Sabula. Tucked right behind him. Targan making his way through. Murray is his next person to try and pick off in the Honda. It's around the back of the circuit right now, coming through Westfield Bend. The run down through Dingledale to Sheen. Some blind entry to that right-hander, taking a lot of the curb. Really hooking up on the inside. There's a lot of grip on that curb on the inside. He allows to pull the car around. Hagen just can't seem to quite have the answer. Murray looking really confident and strong through that section there. Look back from Murray. Hagen swarming all over the back. This is where the Hyundai surely going to come into its strengths. You can see Hagen moving around. He's made a lunge up the inside into Paddock Hill and not able to quite pull it off this time. Murray finding a lot of grip around the outside there. But who's going to be last? The late breakers, and there's contact! There's contact! And Murray sent spinning. And Hagen gets his place. Surely not through the most way he would have wanted to. You see on board now the replay from Hagen's perspective. Here comes the lunge, and Murray just shutting the door. Hagen had nowhere to go, but he wasn't alongside far enough, and that's what sent Murray spinning. But back up to his battle for third. Last place on the podium, and this is finally going to get his way past. No, he's not. Sabula Just running it round the outside then, keeping the momentum going. And Assert being swarmed now by his teammates. They won't be looking to overtake him. They know about the championship. But they feel like they're getting held up right now as we head to the chopper, looking down on them all. This snake of cars. As they come round down to Clark Curve now. You can see they're really almost getting held up and almost tripping up over one another. A Bowl, Ems and Gilman. And Dandridge, what can he do to pick him off from the back of this pack as Assert? Not able to get quite close enough to that Hyundai of Sabula. And find his way past. Sabula heads to the inside, just trying to cover off Assert. Once more, getting on the switchback. Here he comes. They almost touch there. And somehow, it must have been a cigarette paper between them. They somehow avoid one another. And Sabula is clinging on to this last place on the podium by the skin of his teeth right now here in round 8 at Brands Hatch of the VBTCR Championship. And can he hold on? We're at half race distance. Your top 10 right now are Flarton, Hussein, Sabula, Assert, Bolt, Ems, Gilman, Dandridge, Myers and Gibson. And you can see the flash of the lights there from Assert. Trying to do everything he can to distract Sabula. But he's just not able to find that clinical bit of pace to get the car alongside Sabula. So we head further down the field now. As Garrity just moving past there of Thornton. Insignia driver round the outside. A great move there. Round Hawthorne. Proper hold my beer. Watch this sight moment from Fraser Garrity for Insignia. As we head back up to this intriguing battle for third. More flashing of the lights from Assert. Able to assert his dominance on this situation right now. And he's finally going to get to the inside. Sabula goes defensive once more. We're on board with Assert trying to find his way back. Can he get back on the switchback? No. Sabula just comes him off, just slows him up on the apex there. Sabula still holding on. I don't know quite how. You can see the missing paintwork on the rear bumper of that Hyundai Elantra, where Assert has been prodding and poking and probing in an attempt to find his way past, and still unable to. It's just behind. We've lost one of his teammates. One of Assert's teammates, Ems, has dropped right down the field. I'm not too sure what's happened to him. The Impulse guys were all tripping up over one another, but they were trying to remain behind Assert and create that buffer from him being attacked. Well, likes of Dandridge, who's right behind Gilman now. What can Assert do? Can he even find his way past? As once more touching the rear bumper of Sabula. Sabula just covering everything off now. As here comes Assert. Can he get it? He's finally up the inside. Sabula just getting the brilliant, more pacey run out of Clark Curve there. So head across the start-finish line. 7.5 minutes is all that remains in race 1. And Flarton still leading the way. And Hussein, I'll tell you what, he's been catching up. That gap was 2 seconds 5 minutes ago. It's now down to 1.3 seconds. Hussein carrying the 007 number. Definitely not a license to kill, but he'd be desperate for a license to catch up onto the back of Flarton and take the fight right to the line in race 1. Hoping for debut win in the championship for Ignium. Although I'm sure coming into this race, Hussein would have been more than happy with a second place finish. This is sister teammate Denya of Ignium. You see, just trying to find his way past in the Hyundai, past McCabe, just in front of him, fellow Hyundai driver. And now just looking to cover each other off. That little gaggle, they've got Mccoombe behind him, another one of the newcomers to the championship. What can he managed to do is Denya just looking on the inside there. It's a similar situation to what we've seen out front between Sabula and Isert. So we look back from McCabe at Denya. Hyundai's looking really strong through Clark Curve, that last curve. So they come down the start finish straight on the run to Paddock Hill. Can come out on top. This battle for 12th place. Denya not seeming quite initially to have an answer for McCabe. Need to be careful. They've got Koeman and Ems right behind them. There's backup, and Dandridge finally looking like he's trying to get a move done. As Myers, Gibson and Johns have all come along for the ride as well. And where Dandridge was just had to find his way past Gilman, he now has to be careful of attacks from Myers. We ride on board with Dandridge as we run up the hill into Hawthorne. What can the Hyundai driver do for their racing team? See the Impulse guys still remaining behind their teammate Isert, creating that buffer to prevent him from losing any places. So we see Thornton here closing up onto the back of McGarity. Of course, McGarity caught up in that turn 1 action. His teammates Dunn and Emprium took to the pits. Van Olst, he retired. Just under 5 minutes left here remaining. Expect to start seeing some moves being thrown, some slightly more adventurous attacks as the clock ticks down. We're inside the last quarter of the race. We saw early on the raw pace that Ems had remaining in that group. Follow Impulse drivers as we've got a... Oh, there's a replay here. Is this finally the move done for Sabula? No, that's... this is what happened to Ems early on, where everyone was jockeying for position. He ended up tripping up over one of his teammates. And that's what caused him to fall right through the field. I already said earlier on how they all seem to be tripping up over one another due to the battling Isert and Sabula. We're trying to keep that buffer to him. But also just fend off Dandridge as well. Still unable to make any progress as Ems just looking on the bit of attack there. Trying to find his way past Coombe. He's ahead in the Hyundai. What can Ems do to take the fight to this train of 3 Hyundais? Starts off with McCabe, then Denya, then Coombe. Sabula still holding on to that 3rd place. He's got 3 minutes left. It's coming right alongside. He's going to have that outside line that Sabula made work, but we know the Hyundais look quick all race long through this section. And the Impulse guys having to just pretty much block off the track behind, because here comes Dandridge on the attack. Isert's going to be on the outside. Can he swoop down on Sabula? The answer is no. Sabula still hangs on. They're all tripping up over each other behind them as Thornton making an attack. Dandridge, on the attack. Oh, and he's just into the back of Bolware, I think that is. And Myers all the way round the outside. Catches Dandridge napping and gets herself up into 7th place. Well, or does she? As Dandridge not letting her have it all her own way. As they're now on the drag all the way up to 30s. And Myers is going to have that inside line. And there's contact! Dandridge is sent wide, and this is going to allow Gibson through, surely. And maybe even Jack Johns of the Audi. Fascinating stuff here in race 1. And this is all because of Sabula and Isert and their battle and tripping up over one another. And the Impulse, though, there's contact behind there. And more contact between Malcolm and Dandridge there. Through Hawthorne Bend. So I say this is called because the Impulse guys playing the Protector to Isert, creating that buffer. It's causing everyone to trip up over one another and compact the field massively. See Garrity, and then one of the drivers caught up and lost out a bit from that turn 2 action on the first lap. He's just closing in on the back of Newell. Simply Digital. And they've got ahead of them the lapped Spud Motorsport cars. Shane Dunn just ahead of them. I'm sure he'll be moving out the way. As up front in this battle, the intriguing battle. The last place on the podium, Sevilla still holds on to it. Actually pad out a little bit of the gap, and this is going to be the final lap, the last chance saloon to get a move done. Can Assert get himself onto the podium? Can Sabula hold on? He's been there all race. Not long to find out as they come through Pilgrim's Drop on the run up to Hawthorne Bend for the final time in race 1. And Hussein up front, he's managed to close up onto the back of Flarton, but I think it's going to be too late for him to try and get on to making an attacking move. Gilman and Boll still remaining as they've been behind Assert. Not many corners left, just 2 corners left for Sabula to hold on. As they come through Sterling's on the run through Clearways now. Flarton, he's going to take their victory with a flash of the lights in race 1 here at Brands Hatch in round 8. Hussein, a great debut performance. He's going to come home second. But is Sabula going to hold on? It looks like he is on the run out of Clark Curve. And he holds on to that 3rd place with a massive sigh of relief. Assert has to settle in the end for 4th place. Battles up and down the field as Ems managed to make a bit of progress in the end. Get himself back up to 13th after falling down through the order when we saw him fall down. Let's just take you through the results here in race 1 as the last few drivers start to come across the line. Flarton is your victor once more. That's his 5th win of the season, all coming from pole, bar one of them, which is round 6 at Snetterton. Hussein, his first run and a great performance to get second. Sabula holding on to that 3rd place. Assert 4th. Gilman, Boll, Myers, Gibson, Johnson, Dandridge, who've been disappointed in that 10th place. Malcolm, Denyer, Ems, another one, caught up with his teammates in 13th after that spin. Mccoombe, another newcomer, he's in 14th. Great race from the Hyundai driver. Spectacular stuff. And now to give you some history around Brands Hatch, the first race proper was an unusual 4-mile match race between cyclists and cross-country runners in 1928. Now, rather surprisingly, the runners won, although they did have the advantage of having a world champion Australian Jackie Hubin among their numbers. Now, it wasn't until the end of hostilities in World War II that Brands Hatch became serious about its motorsport. Used during the war as a military vehicle park, the circuit was subject to numerous bombing raids and needed much work to get it back up to scratch. Gradually, Brands Hatch began to emerge as a real racetrack. Telephones were installed at marshal posts and central control, and a small, well-equipped field hospital was added too. Unusually for the times, the circuit also boasted a high-capacity continental grandstand along the start-finish straight. Today, the circuit headline international event is the GT World Series, while the BTCC and the British Superbikes remain major crowd pullers. And let's get into race 2. Of course, a full reverse grid here, as always in the championship, and we are away. And Van Ol's just getting away. Bit of argy-bargy in the background there between McGarity and I think that was Crowther there. But Empringham, a great start from him for Spud Motorsport, squeezing up the inside of Van Olst on the run up to turn 2 through Druids now, and Empringham leads from Van Olst. Dunn, his fellow teammate, he's in 3rd. McGarity, another of the Spud Motorsport drivers, he's in 6th. A great start from those guys. Was caught up in that opening action, as I say that the curse of the commentator strikes as McGarity runs wide and falls right through the pack. He's lost about 5 places there. But Empringham still leads the way once more as they come down through Pilgrim's Drop for the first time in race 2. Slipstream Michael McGuinness, another of the newcomers, of the best of race 1s, gets him currently battling out with Fraser Geraghty as they bang doors. The 2 Honda drivers just haven't looked particularly strong here this weekend. Well, Audi and Hyundai. So we see, oh no, Van Olsen's run wide. He's out into the gravel. He keeps hold of it somehow. He's dropped a couple of places. Dunn and Crowther have managed to get past, and here comes Thornton. Can he get the run round the outside? On the run, down now to Clark Curve. Through Clearways, under the bridge, and there's contact! There's contact there! Sent spinning is falling! Oh, after a great start in race 2, he is down and out. And Ampringham leading the way from Dunn, but here comes Crowther right behind them. There's everyone else fanning through. Van Olsen looks like he's running wide once again into turn 1. Pushing the car a bit too hard, and the Spoke Motorsport guys need to be a little bit careful as they swap places. And that battle for the lead. And Ampringham looks like he's just going to come out ahead, but they need to be careful because Crowther is right behind. So we see Dunn heading to the inside. Last thing we want to see is the teammates take one another out. And Dunn is taking command of the situation. He is in front, but here comes Crowther as we look back from Dunn in the Hyundai. You know, the Hyundai's good along the straights and through the faster curves as well. Crowther just having to back out a little bit there. There's Ampringham. Oh no, he's just run a bit wide. He's out onto the grass and the gravel now. And from leading lap 1, as he rejoins, he's into third. If he's just going to keep hold of that, he's coming in front of the chasing pack as we see Hagen just running a bit wide there. Maybe a bit of contact with Van Olst. Somehow everyone just gets Van Olst out on the grass, and I think that was Hagen behind him as well. As not sure how we haven't had a big incident, and then all of a sudden we do. As that is McGuinness sent spinning round. This is what happened at the start. We see a set. Ooh, gets hit from behind. Was that Zenya maybe? And that's what caused... Wow, we didn't see it in the live pictures. But a big, big incident. And that is not going to help Assert at all. It was Hussein who carrying a bit too much speed. Manages to get away with it. Look down now, another replay. This is Thornton. Oh, getting into contact there. Oh, and that's what happened to McGuinness there. Hagen, a bit of an innocent bystander. Oh no, and he loses it himself then. Was it broken suspension that maybe caused that? There was a harsh veer to the right. And it's all happening in race 2. We're just coming up to a course completed already. We've got 4 cars involved in big incidents. And into the pits, Hagen, McGuinness, McCabe and Varlin. See Hussein, who's made a blinding start. Got a bit lucky. That contact with the cert. He's up into 13th for Ignium. And now all over the back of the Honda of Geraghty. What can he do? Can he find a way past? So many questions. Not long to find out. Only 15 minutes to the end of the race. As we see Thornton. He's got Ems right behind him. We're looking for a bit of redemption. They're tripping up over his fellow Impulse teammates. It's now right behind Thornton. Getting the run on the fellow Audi driver. So Ems heads to this inside. Just balancing the car on the brakes. A little bit of a twitch. And maybe even a bit of contact there with Thornton. But Ems is going to have the inside line now into Druids. And this is surely going to be the move done. It is. With Van Olst a little bit almost in reverse. After starting on the front row. It's Ball who's managed to squeeze his way past. And here comes Jack Johns now on the attack. For Van Olst looking really vulnerable. It could even lose another place to Smith as well, who says thank you very much. I'll follow Jack Johns through. And squeezes his way past Flarton on the attack now with Van Olst. The Belgium driver being bullied left, right and centre. Now championship, oh, a contact there with Flarton. Has that damaged his steering at all? Flarton just dropping a bit back there. It was an ambitious move. You see, oh, just running wide. That's Denye running wide in the background there. just about gets away with it somehow. And they said, well, there's synchronised spinning here between Murray and McGarity there. These drivers, nobody is leaving anything on the line here. Pushing their cars to the absolute max. So we see Gibson just get his way past McGarity, but can McGarity fight back? He's going to have the slipstream across the start-finish line on the run to Paddock Hill. Talking of runs, Boller's got his way past Thornton there, well into 6th place. Great race from the Germans so far. Listen, the non-British drivers. Right now, with 7 minutes completed, your order is done. Crowther, Empringham, Newell, Ems, Boll, Thornton, Smith and Flarton taking your top 10, but it's changing so rapidly. I'm sure it won't finish like that for certain. It's Gilman now, trying to find his way past Fraser Geraghty in the Honda. A bit of a concertina effect behind him. Geraghty just heading to the inside, trying to cover it off, and Gilman needs to be careful because here comes Fry in the Hyundai. What can he do? He's also involved in his own tussle with Assert. And Assert trying to find his way past. No, but here comes the Hyundai round the outside. Can he get a spectacular move done on Gilman? It's going to be really, really tight. Oh, there's going to see a bit of contact there between Assert and Fry is sent spinning. And absolutely gutting after what was... And there's Assert involved as well. I think that's his front left wheel gone. Big damage for Assert. And that is not going to help his championship aspirations. Right on board can see exactly how it happened. I think that's the moment where his wheel went. Oh no, it was that second impact from Sabula, I think that was, just heading through in the orange Hyundai. It is all happening here in Kent. So we've got one more round left to go. This should have been the final round of the championship, but the addition to not kill to iRacing, the championship has been extended by an additional round. That's going to be one to watch out for in a couple of weeks' time. As we see Flarton, he's got his way past Hussein. He's up into 9th place. Up top 2 from race 1. Or as they were in race 1, same order. We see now John's up the inside there, trying to defend from Flarton. Needs to be careful, Flarton. The cert down and out. This is his chance to haul back up and create some daylight between himself and the Dutchman in the championship. Flarton just about finding his way past Johnson, or does he? Johnson squeezed out onto the grass there by Flarton, and Johnson's going to lose 2, 3 places even potentially. It's just the two's come back out in front of Van Ols, who's down to 12th now after starting on the front row. You can see a flash of the lights from Neil there, trying to distract Boll. Boll and M to the 2 impulse drivers, having great races so far. It's a 4th and 5th. As we see Gibson now, he's locked in a buckle with Duncan Murray, and the other drivers will be hoping for a much better race too, although he's down in 20th. It's the Honda driver. It's the same again in race 2 as it was in race 1, where the Honda's just not going as well as the Audis and the Hyundais. Currently guaranteeing the top Honda driver in 14th place. Ray, 2nd place in 20th. On board with Gibson right now. He's tucked up behind Myers. You know, this is where the the Hyundai is stronger compared to the Audi. As Flarton's got himself back up another place, that's past Thornton, Hussein following him through as well. Sticking right to the bumper of Flarton. Following him through on every move that he makes. See, Thornton's got his teammate Smith right behind. This contact. Bit of blue on blue there between the 2 online racedriver.com teammates. That's the last thing they'll be wanting. Sure, there'll be a few choice words in the debrief after the race. As now Jack Johns, he's on the attack. What can he do? Can he get past Smith? He's going to have the inside line. Smith is surely just going to cover that one off. Can Johns sweep back down and get up the inside? Into Druids. It looks like it's going to be the case. They come hard onto the brakes, and Johns is just going himself in front as he looks to push wide Smith. But can Van Olst finally make some progress in this race and following through? He can't. He needs to be careful with Gilman right behind. Gilman, a slightly quicker driver compared to Van Olst. Two Central European drivers to see Smith. He's run wide there. There's Flarton just up front. He's making progress to get his way past Jack Newell. Simply Digi. Hussein not close enough behind Flarton to follow him through on this occasion. Hussein making great progress in his debut round of the championship, and he's on the move again. Newell just yielding a bit there, allowing him through. We've seen the pace of Hussein in row one. The front also wins wide once more through Sheen. Onto the grass, and no, it's into the barrier. Chewed up and spat out by the iRacing grass there, straight into the barrier. And that's going to be race over for Van Olst, and gutting for him. As we see Flying setting a new personal best there at 1:33 dead. And Empringham, after a great start leading the opening lap, is now under pressure. He's been caught and is being now harassed by Ems and Boll. Two impulse drivers. Of course, don't need to worry about trying to play the defender behind his and keep everyone at bay. They can now go on the attack, and Empringham having to defend a bit of a lock up there into Surtees. Who's going to have the best exit? Up the back straight. He's going to dip down through Pilgrim's Drop now, under the bridge. And then run up the hill to Hawthorne. Empringham just going to hold on to that one for now. But you can see Ems is all over the rear bumper of Empringham. And the Spud Motorsport driver just locks up a little bit. And this is Ems' chance. He's going to have the inside line. Can Boll also follow him through? Is Empringham going to lose 2 places in as many corners he is? And what was a great start from Empringham, it's now starting to fall apart. Just maybe pushing the car a bit too hard. These guys are coming up behind Crowther. Can they catch them? Those guys will be definitely working together. Is Denyer up the inside of Garrity there? This is where surely going to just drag straight past the Honda. But just looking behind, is Mccoombe going to come along through as well? Oh, bit of contact there, bit of door rubbing. Oh, there's even bigger contact there between Garrity and Mccoombe. And they both hold on. It's quite too sure how. It's getting incredibly close out there. Definitely a bit spicy. As we see Sabula making progress and not having to defend for his life for the whole race. Able to let his hair down a bit and get on the attack is the Polish driver. He's up into 11th. That's past Smith. Semper Racing driver making good progress as to starting on the last but one row of the grid. It's Mccoombe, can he looks like he's going to finally get past Garrity, and there's more contact between these two once more. I'm sure it's going to be much left. The front end of Mccoombe and the rear end of Garrity, the way those two have been going at it. As we see Johns just like connection issues blinking in and out there. This is not going to exactly help Gilman. Distracting him a bit. Be desperate to get past Johns cleanly and safely. What can Johns do? He's going to defend that inside line. Like we've seen so many of the drivers do. As Gilman just heads out to the outside, trying to get the cut back on Johns through Hawthorne. Johns just covering it off with the apex once more. lives to fight another day as they come around Druids. Can Gilman find a way past? We're inside 4 minutes left here in race 2 of round 8 of the VBTCR Championship. Quickly running you through your top 10. Dunn still leads from Crowther, Ems, Ball, Empringham. He's in 5th. Flarton, Hussein obviously in behind. Then we've got Newell, Johns and Gilman rounding out your top 10. Feeling though a few of those places may well change like we saw in race 1. These closing stages here in race 2. Empringham once again running a little bit wide there through Westfield. It's gone through Dingle down. It's the blind Sheen. You see Flarton just so much more aggressive compared to Empringham over the curbs. Really able to hook that Audi RS3 up. And here comes Hussein as well. Just trying to find a way past Flarton. Well, he's trying to find his own way past Empringham, who runs wide once more, trying to carry as much momentum through the corners as possible. Right on board with Hussein. He's got the best view in the house. These two, and if Flarton can find a way past. It's Empringham just covering it off. Here comes Flarton, going to make a dive for the inside. It's not going to be enough room there for now. It's Empringham just pushing the car out wide so he can defend and have this inside line into Graham Hill Bend. And now they're all over one another, and Hussein is going to get himself boxed in a little bit here. Flarton's going to get up the inside. Is Hussein going to look to follow him through, or just take the racing line? There you go, and just get as much speed out of the corner. But Flarton has found his way past Empringham and is up into 5th for now. I don't think Empringham's going to be able to defend it, or is he? As they come round Hawthorne, Flarton holding on round the outside and gets the move done. A great move. Hussein trying to weave around and find his way past Empringham. He doesn't want to lose any more places. And Hussein will be desperate to get past Empringham, so he doesn't lose out any more time to Flarton. So we see Sabula currently in 10th. Dunn still leading the way, but I tell you what, Crowther and Ems and Ball have all caught up right behind him. We're going to head out round now. The white flag waves. We're on to the final lap here in race 2 of round 8. And who is going to come out on top in this 4-way battle for the 3 podium positions? Crowther just on the defensive, and this is going to help Dunn. Because while he is battling with Ems and Ball, it's going to allow Dunn just to take all the racing line. Ease off the pressure. All these apex and exits. Fascinating stuff here as once more Ems heads to the inside. What could Crowther do? Or is this going to be move complete for Ems? Who's going to get the best drag out of the corner? What can Ball do? Can he pick up a place? He's looking to follow his teammate through. He's on the outside line. But Crowther just holding on to that inside. Ball just hanging around the outside there. Ems is definitely ahead. He's into 2nd, and a great move by Ball round the outside at Hawthorne's. We've seen 2 cracking moves there already today. And Ball joins the club. Dunn has managed to clear off and create a bit of a gap. He should hold on to that first place. As Gilman under pressure from Sabula as he tries to fight his way past Jack Johns. Of course, we saw that brilliant defensive masterclass from Johns at Oran Park. But Dunn is coming round Clark Curve for the final time, and he is going to take the victory here in race 2 and his first win in the championship. Ems is going to come home 2nd, Ball 3rd. Crowther has to settle for 4th in the end. Flarton 5th as we see the battle to the line, and Johns is just going to hold on to it over Gilman and Sabula. A great finish from those guys. So we now just run through the results. Of course, Dunn taking the victory. That is his first win, and he's only ever been on the podium once before. That was race 2 at Oran Park in round 4. Ems, he was second, and that's his third time on the podium of the season. Ball, third, running on the podium positions. Crowther, fourth. Flarton, fifth. Hussein, sixth. A great result on his debut round. Embringham, that's his best finish of the season, in seventh. Jack Johnson, eighth. Gilman, ninth. 10th was Sabula. Then it's Neil Smith. That's his best finish in race 2 of the season. Stuart with round 3 at Silverstone. Then we've got Denyer, Garrity, Coombe, Myers, Gibson, Murray, Malcolm, Thornton taking you up to 20th place. It's going to be gutted by that one. Real chance to haul some points in and keep things close to Flarton. He's going to come home 21st. Dandridge and McGarity running out your field. Now let's take a look at the championship standings and what that all means from today's action. Well, the difference was 7 points at the start of today's racing. That gap has now extended some 23 points between Flarton and Assert. Gilman, he's up to third place, displacing Shane Dunn despite that victory in race 2. Jan Bolt making progress up 3 places for Impulse. Jack Johns demoted because of that. Sabula, he's jumped up 4 thanks largely to his third place position in race 1 into 7th place. Scott Malcolm climbs a couple of places while into 8th. Garrity and Newell round out your top 10. Then it is Smith, Denyer, Hagen. He's fallen 4 places for Luminous Racing there. Crowther, Empring and Ems all making progress up 2, 3 and 4 places respectively. And Crowther also tied on points with Hagen. So that section of the points table getting really, really tight. We then have Birch in 17th, Holland in 18th, McGarity, he's 19th, McCabe rounding out your top 20. A bit of a gap then down to Jessica Myers, who comes up 9 places into 21st. Thornton, Mould, Harris and Gibson take you up to 25th. Gibson making good progress as well there. Drivers making a few places up in the championship. He's at Mudgie's only 1 place ahead of William Martin, who's on 200 points exactly. Bit of breathing space between those guys. And Seal in 27th, Cotton and Murray. Kent take you up to 30th place in the championship. Jones, that's Paul Anderson, who I haven't seen for a couple of rounds, and some great performances from him. Hopefully he can return in a week's time. We've then got Neil Butler, Simons, Stevenson, Dandridge, he's up 6 places into 36th. Van Olsu be gutted after that race 2 performance. Now let's just take a look at the team championship by Impulse. They've been so dominant all season. They lead the way. Luminous, some nearly 360 points behind. Spud Motorsport, thanks largely to the consistency of Shane Dunn in 3rd place. And looking comfortable over Team Ord in 4th place. Insignia aren't far behind Ord though, they're in 5th. That could well change. Pulse Esports making good progress in 6th, getting ahead of Simpy Diddy. Ignium Motorsport Spark, they are in 8th with Fearlessly Forward, and then Ignium in 10th. Semper climb a place into 11th, displacing Team Mad Simmortal for 11th and 12th respectively. Track Obsession remain in 13th. Martin's distance scores climbs 3 places there into 14th. British Sim Racers remain in 15th. Likewise, Assumed Rogue Racing remain in 16th. TC Motorsport fall 3 places into 17th. Marshmallow Racing in 18th. And wow, what a great race again here from the latest round of the VBTCR Championship. It's been a crazy event once more. Plenty of action. Door banging, overtakes, excitement. Some of the drivers are going to be really happy with their performances. Others are going to be really disappointed, of course. So hoping to just keep onto the tails of Flarton due to that race 2 incident. Sent him tumbling down through the order at turn 1. That gap has been extending at the front by Flarton. Of course, congratulations has to go to Shane Dunn on his first win in the championship. Only his 2nd time on the podium in the championship as well. Great from him. Of course, Emprium, his highest finish of the season as well. Spooler managed to get in his best qualifying as well. So many great success stories. Fry, race 1, achieved his best finish of the season as well. Flarton getting his 5th win. And your money as we head in 2 weeks' time to Knock Hill has got to be on him to take the championship for certain. From myself and Shane here at VBTCR, thank you very much and goodbye.